So for Anne Brooke's 52 challenge, the next one is called Scrappy Tag. And what I've decided to do is use all kinds of various yellows. And I have some here, but I don't think I have enough. So what I'm going to do is take our Stampin' Up! Inks and color these white tags, and we'll see how it works out. So I'm using crushed curry first, and all I'm going to do is drop a couple of drops on here. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. It looks kind of brown instead of yellow. Maybe when it dries. I think what I'm going to do next is try a really light one. This is Pineapple Punch. Let's see how that looks. I may have to actually just go out and buy some scraps. Well, that is kind of yellow. Maybe when it dries. Oh, you know what? I'm wondering if it's because of my background. Let's try and put a piece of white paper behind this and see if that makes a difference. No, it still looks brown. This looks yellowish, but this other one doesn't. It may not work out. I'm going to try one more Daffodil Delight, and if it looks too dark, then I'll just go buy some yellow material. The other thing I might try to do is to water them down with some alcohol, and then that would maybe lighten the color. So I'm going to grab some alcohol and mix a little ink with alcohol and see if that helps. Well, I have looked high and low for my bottle of alcohol, and I'm sure it's happened to each one of you. You just dig around in your craft room like crazy to try to find it, and you cannot find it. So we're going to try another thing. So I'm going to take my Bumblebee ink pad and just lay my material on top of it and squish it in and see if that picks up the color enough. Well, I don't think it's very much different than me dropping the ink on there. So, well, no, and maybe it's because it's just such a dark yellow. Alrighty, on to the next trial. Try to figure this out without having to go buy some yellow material. So I never did find my alcohol to water down my re-inkers, but I've done this. So this is just some white material, and then this is just our Stampin' Blends. And what I'm doing is just coming along here and coloring this so it will be a shade of yellow to add to my tag. And I think that's going to come out perfect. These are just two, I think, brown. They just don't even look yellow to me. This one I did with, I think, Daffodil Delight. This is Bumblebee. Yeah, this is good. And then the other thing I did was I took some of our ribbons and I attached them to some material, so then they will be sewn like this, and you will see that. This is some of our celebration ribbon here, and then this is just two single ribbons, which actually looks similar to that. But anyway, those are the ones I'm going to use. I think I'm going to add a little bit more color here, but here's my strips of material for my third week of my tag challenge. So after you get your strips, and they are a 1/2 inch in width, and however long your tag is, you're going to iron them so that there is a crease in the middle. And that will be where you're going to sew down. Let me just do one more. So we have a 1/2 inch here. My width, I think, is about 2 inches or so. I'm going to fold this in half and crease it. And do that with all of my little strips. The other thing I did is I wanted to show you is, remember those ones I put the ink on? I took it to the sink and I rinsed out a lot of the ink. I'm going to do it on this one too, but do you see how much lighter they are now? So that was a good thing to do. So I've got, again, some different yellows here. Okay, so now I've taken all of my strips and I have folded them over and ironed them. And I have these 2 strips with these little sparkles on it that I'm going to have at the very top and bottom. I've got my little piece of cloth that I'm going to sew on, and this is going to go on my tag after I sew everything. So I'm going to start out with just this one piece first, and I have pulled some yellow, embroidery floss here. It's number 3078, which is just a pale yellow, and I'm using 2 strands. I have done a quilter's knot at the end, and you're not going to really see the stitches, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to lay it at the bottom here, and I might, this very first time, put a pin in it to hold it there until I kind of get going. Yeah, there we go. Because the fabric, the white fabric, is just a little bit flimsy until you start getting some layers on it. There it is here. So we're going to start, and again, it's very, very simple, but it is just a straight stitch. Oops, wrong way. Dang it. I gotta unthread my needle here. I put the knot in backwards. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Instead of taking the needle off, I'm just going to cut that knot off there and just put in a new knot. I need it to come from the back. So your quilter's knot, lay it over your needle. You've seen me do this before and mess up before. Oh, here we go. Only when you're filming does this stuff happen. Come on here. Come on, little thread. Cooperate. There we go. Alrighty. Oh, I'm glad I pinned that on there. Okay, we're going to start from the back. And what you're going to do is just come up right where that crease is and then down. And you're just going to tack it down. So I'm just going to go through. I need a thimble. I just stuck my finger. Oh, it's hard to sew when you have a camera over your head because it's a little bit harder to get it up toward your eyes, especially when you're old and you can't see very well. I'm going to just pull that out right now because it's getting in my way. So I have my video on my journal, Stampin' Up! Journal uploading right now. And then the next video I will upload is tag number 2. Okay, so now that you have that tacked down, or we have that tacked down, you're just going to bring it forward and get your next one. We'll just use this one. And what you're going to do is lay it right up against the line of the other one. You see it right there? Just line it up and then open it up, and you're going to stitch that one down. And if we need to, I'm going to turn that around. If we need to, we will just trim off the edges here. It's called a scrappy tag. So again, it doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, I've got that. So I'm going to go down one more and then up through this one. There you go. Oh, I just bumped the camera. Sorry. And you just want to make sure, like I said, that this crease line is up against that other crease there. So I'm going to continue on. About halfway through, I will start filming again, but it's, like I said, it's very difficult for me to sew with this camera in my way. So I'll carry on and show you about midway where I'm at. Okay, I'm a little bit more than halfway through, and you can see how beautiful that is. All those little scraps there. So again, all you do is at each one, you flip it up, lay your next one in there, the crease up against the last one. Just kind of lay it in there, and then just do a straight stitch. Oops. All along. And I can't remember if I told you, but I've used, oh yeah, I did tell you, 2 strands of embroidery thread. And I just kind of double check every once in a while to make sure it's up against that next one. I don't know if it really matters that much because there's so many of them that once we fluff them up, you're not going to be able to see that much. So anyway, I'm going to continue to the very end, adding them, and then I will check back with you when I'm done. My threads are getting, there we go, tangled. There we go. Alrighty, okay. So then I'll continue on, but oh, isn't that fun looking? And, you know, some people say, well, why are you doing this? It's just for the pure enjoyment of hand stitching and relaxing. So I'll be back with you guys in just a minute. Okay, I've finished off all my sewing, and some of these materials are the ones that I dyed with the Stampin' Up! Inks. This is one of them right here. This darker one right there. So they did do well. This is another one I can tell because it's the white. And this is how the back looks. It's very sturdy because of all of the thread. And I'm going to put it on this color of tag. I'm using 3 different colors of tags. This cardstock one, then white, and then this is a cream colored one. So on the back of it, before I attach this, I'm going to stamp the date, and it is January the 21st. And I'm just going to make sure that I am stamping it correctly. And I'm stamping it with Bumblebee ink. There we go. Perfect. And then I will journal on the back of it that it's week number 3 of the 52 tags. And then I'll have some pictures. It's going to go like that. I'll have some pictures at the end of the video of it. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And thanks, Anne, for your inspiration for these tags. These are very fun and a new way to journal. Bye, everyone. See you soon.